I have been playing Rise of Kingdoms for 7 years, yet I've started to ask myself, what actually makes Rise of Kingdoms different from other mobile games? What makes Rise of Kingdoms special? Well, let's jump into it because I think it's going to surprise you. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms gameplay video from your very own Chappy Gaming. If you're new to the channel, my name's Chappy. I'm a sponsored Rise of Kingdoms content creator. And today, we are talking about what makes Rise of Kingdoms different from other mobile games. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Glad to have you. If you haven't already, do hit that subscribe button. But I have played Rise of Kingdoms. I've played Kingdom Guard. I've played Age of Empires Mobile. I've played Age of Origins. And the list goes on. I've played Clash of Clans. I've played Civilization Eras and Allies. I've played a lot of mobile games in my time. But I keep coming back to Rise of Kingdoms. Yes, I'm a sponsored creator. That tends to help. But it does make me think about why I like this game and what I like about it. To be very honest with you guys, I've been spending a lot of time playing Kingdom Guard lately. They sponsored me for that one video, and I've just kept playing it because I've been having a lot of fun. If you guys haven't tried it, go check out that video. I'll link it in the top right corner. But what makes Rise of Kingdoms different? When you look at all of these games, they're very similar. It's city building, right? You're going through, you're building a city, you're crafting it as you like. There's alliances. Pretty much all of these games have alliances at this point. There's territory bonuses. Just about all the games have that too. There's alliance technology trees. They all have that too, right? Most of these mechanics that we're talking about, I think the genre is called 4X. And most of the things that we're talking about here are pretty normal, right? Even things as nuanced as like commanders or equipment, or transferring resources, or gathering, or rallying. Like all of this stuff, this is super common now. And interestingly, in some ways, Lilith actually had to catch up because Age of Empires Mobile launched, and Lilith hasn't really had a whole lot of competition in the genre for a long time, but they had to add the auto barbs, because that didn't exist before. And it was interesting to see Lilith kind of have to adjust to the genres. But now I've played a lot of them, and there's just some really good things I like in some of these other games. For example, Kingdom Guard has auto rally, which you could turn on and leave for 8 hours, which is amazing. Age of Origins Mobile has the same thing, where instead of having to worry about coming online for forts, there's idle mechanics here that really help you out. They also have better resources here. We talk about these resource mines in the cities. These are garbage. You're not going to get enough resources by any chance from these. But in some of these other games, you actually can get a fairly large amount. But what makes Rise of Kingdoms different, in my opinion, comes down to a few different things. First is going to be the field fighting, right? I'll have some footage over here on the right for you. Field fighting in Rise of Kingdoms is special. It's different. There is so much nuance in field fighting. You can fight in dot mode. You can fight in normal mode. You have 3 different unit types plus siege. Siege have ranged combat. And that's not even with getting into some of the KVK bonuses. But the control that you have during fighting in Rise of Kingdoms really surpasses all of the others. The only one that I think comes any close is probably Age of Empires Mobile. But even then, I found Rise of Kingdoms combat to be way more fulfilling than Age of Empires Mobile. Just when you get into a fight, the murder ball mechanics, there's much less animations when we talk about the skill mechanics, but also like the troop cosmetics. I think a lot of other games over-index on the troop cosmetics. Rise of Kingdoms is starting to get into that, but hopefully not too much. But field fighting in Rise of Kingdoms, I think, is probably better than any of the other games that I've played. It's just really well differentiated, and in theory, it makes it fun. Personally, it's gotten a little stale for me, only because we don't see ranged combat taking more of a play, and You can't necessarily see your troops in dot mode. You get it. Another thing that's less positive is spending on things that go away. Now, I've heard that in some of the other games, this is a thing. But none of the other games that I've played is this a thing, right? All the games I've mentioned before, those don't have a notion of crystal tech, right? Crystal tech, you spend $300+, 55 days, the money's in the toilet. That is not something I have seen in other games. Now, I've heard in, I think, Lords Mobile and Kingdom Rush, I haven't played either of those, there's some notion of something similar to that, but I really don't like it. It's one of those things that, like, really, really bothers me because it takes the game from being fun to being something that's a chore and you're paying into it, and it just becomes a little bit more challenging. And I have been campaigning for years now to have Lilith create a Crystal Tech free KVK. We're still waiting. We're still waiting for a Crystal Tech free KVK. I don't know that it's going to come. I created my own perfect KVK. I'll link the video on the top right-hand corner for you. I thought it worked out great, but Lilith, you know, still, they haven't watched the video yet, clearly. I don't like that. And it is different. It's differentiated from all of the other games that I've played, but it's one of the negatives of Rise of Kingdoms for me. The next thing that I think makes Rise of Kingdoms really special is actually Osiris League. And Osiris League just ended, but you have Osiris League and you have the Grand Prix. Both of these events, I think, have exploded into their own realm. I don't even play ROK, but Osiris League is such a big deal that they have streaming teams covering this like you would expect in, I don't know, League of Legends almost, or something like that. It's kind of really become its own thing. And I think Osiris League is special. I wish that I was more into it and I had the time to go through and dedicate to it. But if you do, it's almost like esports. Like, if you get into it, the strategy there is insane. The effort you have to put in, the practice rounds, the optimizing your marches, the figuring out the different skills and strategies, it's incredible. And I haven't really seen that in other mobile games. Not nearly to the same extent as Grand Prix or Osiris League. And I have to give Lilith a lot of credit here because Ark of Osiris was in the game, I think, all the way back when I started playing in 2019. And it has not changed all that much from then to now. They've added new skills, they've added, fog, but other than that, it's largely been the same game, which I find really, really impressive between Osiris League and Grand Prix. I like both of them. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is community. We've talked about over and over, every content creator you listen to will talk about community in Rise of Kingdoms. The community is so great. The community is wonderful. But I don't know that that's such a big differentiator anymore. I think it was originally. But I think nowadays, community has gotten to be challenging. You see some toxic people on Facebook. You see some toxic people in Discord. I think there's a weird mishmash of people that have been playing the game forever and people that are brand new. And the people that are brand new are not really being pulled into the community as much as they should be. If you're new, welcome. Glad to have you. I hope you love Rise of Kingdoms. But is the community all that differentiated? I don't really know. When I played Age of Origins, I had people offering to help me all the time. They sent me a bunch of different guides. They said, hey, Shappy, here's this. You need help figuring out what resources to gather. I got you. And on and on and on. And that was the same when I started playing Kingdom Guard. Similar thing, everyone's super friendly, Discord groups, similar story. So is the community really a differentiator for Rise of Kingdoms at this point? I don't really know. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think the community in Rise of Kingdoms has changed? Do you think that it's really such a big differentiator these days? I know that it keeps me coming back because of the friends that I've made. But I don't know that the ability to make friends in the game is actually exclusive to just Rise of Kingdoms. I don't know. Moving on, KVK. I don't like Crystal Tech. We all know this. But in all of the other games that I've played, KVK is not like this. In some games, it's a 5-6 day event where you go through and you compete, almost like an MGE, where you compete against other kingdoms. In some versions, they have other alliances, but that's kind of how it works. And you try to capture the castle of the other kingdom. But overall, it's much more casual. We're talking like afternoon, like once every couple weeks kind of thing. Rise of Kingdoms said, nope. KVK in Rise of Kingdoms is an ordeal. You choose a story and you are in that story for 50 days. And they've changed this. It used to be 55. But I like KVK. In fact, in the late game, I think KVK is really the one thing that a lot of people play for. And one thing I do have to admire about Rise of Kingdoms in particular is that the KVK game modes are not the same thing every time, which it typically is in these other games, right? And the fact that you can go through and you can do Heroic Anthem, and then you can do Storm of Stratagems, and you can do King of All Britain, and you can do Siege of Orleans, and they're releasing a new one, Mighty Assembly. What's this KVK mode? I have no idea, but if you want to find out, let me know in the comment section below. But there's so many different KVK modes here that it actually keeps things really, really exciting. I think that KVK is one of the things that significantly differentiates Rise of Kingdoms. Do I think it should be 50 days? I don't know. Do I think it should be 50 days and there should be more fighting than there currently is? Probably. But I really like KVK. And I like the variety here, and I like that it keeps things interesting. I wish they would make it so there was more reason to invest in a variety of commanders. That's something I think a lot of other games do significantly better. In Age of Empires Mobile, you run 3 commanders per march instead of 2, and you can mix and match. And in Kingdom Guard, you have 4 unit types, 4 true unit types that all counter each other. And you can mix and match different commanders and heroes in there. And then a lot of the heroes have similar stats, so you can pick which ones you like better. Rise of Kingdoms doesn't really do that, and I think there would be better opportunity to expand on that. And I know they are releasing this new KVK mode, and they're making it so you can have multiple Bastion skills, so maybe that'll help, but just something that I wish they did differently. Now, the last thing that I think Rise of Kingdoms does a really good job of, and I think I might get some disagreement on this, but let me know in the comment section below, is going to be paywalls. Now, I don't like how Lilith does Crystal Tech. Full stop. Don't like it. Don't like that they do it. Wish they would get rid of it. However, when I look at Rise of Kingdoms compared to some of these other games that I've played, there is very, very, very little that's actually paywalled. The only things that I see being paywalled are this guy, Hannibal Barca. If you want him, you have to spend. And Minamoto. Now, anyone who's in the late game can tell you, you don't need either of them, and they're probably not worth buying. Beyond that, there's really not a whole lot that's paywalled. You can get where you want to go by spending, or you can get where you want to go by time. Hell, even things like, and I was thinking about this earlier, even things like Zenith of Power. I've never won it, and I've never tried to win it. But if I wanted a Zenith skin, I could probably get one. Maybe I'd have to migrate to a D Kingdom and then come back, or maybe I'd have to save up for 6 months, but I could probably get one. And so there's actually very little that's paywalled in Rise of Kingdoms that's meaningful. Even things like the city skins. Yes, there's the $1 million city skin. Fine, that's paywalled. It probably should be. But like, if we look at this current event that's going on right this minute, we have this love event, Governor's Choice event. This is paywalled. Don't love it. This is paywalled. But even if you look at this, look at the rewards. They're trash. You don't need resource production 25%. If they turned around and said, oh, we're going to make it all troop health 25%, then I'd be like, okay, what the hell? But this is nothing. There's very little in Rise of Kingdoms that's actually paywalled. You can get pretty much all the currencies that you need from just playing the game. Sure, you can't get cosmetics, but I do have a lot of appreciation and respect for Rise of Kingdoms for this. Because coming from games like Age of Empires Mobile, for example, they do have paywalls. You want an advanced city skin? You got to buy it. And you got to spend a fair bit for it. Even in Kingdom Guard, if you want certain things, you need to spend, which I don't love. And so it's interesting seeing that when I come back to Rise of Kingdoms, some of these gaps in comparison to some of these other games. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think Rise of Kingdoms is actually different than any of the other games in this 4X genre? Or do you think that Rise of Kingdoms is just one that tends to be more popular because it is? But let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like. And of course, hit that subscribe button right over there, bottom right hand corner. Hit the bell so you get notified when new episodes come out. If you're on mobile, be sure to hype this. It actually helps me out more than anything else you can do. Thank you all. Shappy out.